Hello everyone, this is Charlotte, and this is a podcast called Chatting in Cars. I know it's been a long time since I've added to my pile of them, but I have taken a big break because it was school holidays, and I thought if I don't start now, I will never get anywhere. This is a podcast where I talk about random topics, and I talk about them at length, and I interchange all kinds of themes, so if you don't want to hear about random shit that starts off as one topic but ends up with 50 other different ones, I suggest you turn it off now. I also apologise right now because I have got the flu once again, and I'm heading into work anyway because that's what we do. It would be nice to have a day off, but it doesn't exist, so here we go. Not for casual teachers anyway. I say casual, I'm still doing full-time hours, but fuck it, right? There's a disclaimer at the start of this podcast because I do swear like a sailor. I was married to one, so fuck it, I'm going to do that too. I hope you can't hear me snuffling, it's so disgusting. Yes, I'm hoping I can get back into the groove of this because my brain's addled with... Actually, I'm not even flu medicated, so I'm just flued. The topic for... Actually, today I'm going to do an update on where we're at so far because I've left it for so long, I don't even know where my brain's at these days. I think the last podcast I did was last day of term, I think. I don't know. I'm going everywhere today. So, what are we updating? Alright, so it's probably been about 6 weeks or something since I last did a podcast. We'll have to check the dates on that. Although, what does it matter anyway? I will actually have a topic for the next one. So, what's happened so far? I took the break off. I had 2 weeks holiday. I've been working on my businesses so far. Actually, the plan for my New Year's resolution is doing really well. I've managed to save a lot of money on certain things just by doing things particular ways that are, more money conservative or energy conservative. What the hell are you doing? Morons in Navaras. You know how I feel about Navaras. The overall, I don't know if you've actually seen the podcast. The last update podcast will actually talk about the New Year's resolutions. What I'm planning to do is go through the same kind of poverty I lived in as a child, or a similar version of it, maybe an upgraded version of it, in order to firstly understand what people are going through today, because I want to understand what they're doing. I never understood it as a kid because I was living in it, and I didn't really have a hand in how things went, so you just sort of took the brunt of it and hoped for the best, right? You have never known anything different until you grow up and you start seeing people living different and you go, hey. So as an adult, I took it on that I wanted to understand what was going on with the poverty cycle and things like that, and I started that in January, I think it was. It's now May. I've just had my first birthday. I have 2 birthdays a year. One's in September as well. Don't ask, long story. Actually, I should have 3 technically, but yeah. So I took it on and I wanted to understand what people are having to deal with, because right now my rent's gone up, which everyone's rent is going up. We're all working our arse off. If you've got a job, if you've got the blessing of having a job, we're all working our arse off just to make ends meet, right? So I challenged myself to find ways to make ends meet in a better way. So I wanted to cut down my electricity bills, I wanted to cut down my food bills, I wanted to find better ways of doing things, which has worked so far. I've got my electric bill down $30 just by turning shit off. So I was pretty stoked about that. I've been doing all kinds of things at the moment, so I don't know if you've got Woolworths where you are, but they've got things like everyday rewards, but they also do gift cards, and they'll give you something like 1,800 points or something like that if you buy a gift card for something, and that goes onto your rewards card, which then every 2,000 points you get gives you $10 off. It seems menial now. It's like it's a pissy little amount. You go, yeah, $10 is, what's that? Coffee and a half. In Australia it is. But it adds up, and so far you can choose to use that $10 now, or you can choose to use it later on. I've got mine signed up for the Christmas end of year points, so at the moment I've got about $50 now. I'm pretty stoked about it, because normally I'd just take it off the top of my shop, but So I've still got my chest freezer running, which is stocked with rations for, actually I went out and got a bunch of Quorn on sale, which is fake meat, because I'm a vegetarian. I got that on sale, so that's all bulked up and waiting for the next set of rations to get made into bags and stuff. Yeah, pull out, dickhead. Why not? Sorry. Oh, yeah, that's me. I'm going to be swearing a lot at bad drivers as well. Didn't indicate. I think there was about 4 meters driving space. I pulled out anyway. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? Idiot. Oh, it's Monday. No, I'm stocked up on that. So even when I get through the current rations, I'm going to be ready to go with that because I got them on sale in bulk, and I stowed them away in my chest freezer. That will save me a mint. But I actually bought those with my gift card voucher thingy, which then gave me more points. So I'm accruing things. If I can get discounts on discounts on discounts, I'm stoked. I love the sort of strategy behind that kind of thing. Sorry about the snuffling. I know, it's disgusting. What else am I doing? I'm using candles. I bought a shitload of candles, like 600 candles off eBay. Tea lights they are, and that's what helped me save the electricity, because I turn off all the things I'm not using. I think the only thing I've actually got running is my fridge and freezer. Everything else is on and off at the wall. I don't leave my microwave on, my TV on or anything like that. Not that I really use my TV. I'm sitting on my laptop the majority of the time, watching stuff on that. So I saved $30 for the last bill from that. Oops, sorry, that decided to turn on. That out now. That's my radio. But yeah, no, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. I've switched my washing cycle to the lowest run time because I want to save electric that way. I get my petrol on a Tuesday, which I've downloaded an app, and it shows you what day is the cheapest day. And then I use my, Nectar points. Well, I say Nectar points. Nectar points is what Tesco's does if you're in England, but it's the Woolworths equivalent. I use those to get the discount on petrol on the cheap days, so you're getting a double discount there. Pretty stoked about that one too. And you're accruing points as well doing that, so, get as much as you can, right? I'm just loving the little strategy challenges. I'm tempted to shower at the gym as well, but it's an absolute fuck fight there. It's disgusting. So I don't know if I'd come out cleaner doing that. I used to do it. I used to do it at my old gym, but my old gym was considerably cleaner. This one is not. It's foul. The smell alone, oh my god. And the substances you find all around the gym is, like I don't want to be here. So I'm wiping down everything with those little sanitizer wipes before and after I even touch it. I'm going, that's disgusting. So I can't imagine actually using the bathroom, but it would save a considerable amount of money on, electricity for hot water and stuff, if you wanted to go that way. Some people don't have a problem with it. I share the gym mostly. It seems to be a male-dominated gym. I've only ever seen maybe 3 girls there. And that's, I think, what makes the difference, because you've got a bunch of guys, and they seem to just not give a fuck. It's like, it's a gym, I don't know, maybe it's some kind of toxic masculinity. But I've known guys that are clean, like really clean, and you sit there and go, how can you fuckers live like this? You go into a girl's toilet, it is rarely a shithole. You go into a guy's toilet, and I have, because I was a cleaner once, and it's a fuck fight. It's like, what is going on? They just don't care. Meanwhile, you go into the girls' toilet and there's like fucking candles burning and shit. It's like, it's lovely in here. We can spend all day in here. I don't know why guys do that. Anyway, so that's been my update for the moment. I've got the deposit on my house, which was the second half of it as well. So when I started, I had the deposit for my house because I wanted to stop renting altogether. I'm fed up of renting. I hate that they've jacked up my prices so fast and so much. There is a cap on it that it can only go up 20% in Australia, or in Western Australia I should say. But the person who owns the apartment I'm in has jacked it up every time they renewed the lease, and I'm getting pissy about it now. It's like, I can foresee where this is going. It's like, this has got nothing to do with mortgages, because I used to have a mortgage and I know how far it goes up. This is just profiteering, so I'm pissed. So I'm hoping to get out of the rental market ASAP. So hopefully maybe towards the end of next year. That's on schedule for that. I've already allocated funds for that. And we're just chugging through the hours at this point. I'm leaning less towards an apartment, more towards a house, just because there's space and you can do more with that space and it's more saleable than an apartment. Selling an apartment is a bit niche because I used to have a 2-bedroom apartment, and it took a while to sell off compared to a house where you got like families in suburbia who just want space and stuff like that. You can't cram a 4-kid family in a 2-bedroom house. It doesn't work. So that's my plus. I mean, I'm looking for it long term, so if I ever find someone in a relationship or something like that who's got kids or something like that, it would be good to have the space, and then you don't have to wait to sell the apartment to get the house. So I'm thinking long term as well. It would be a benefit to get a house over an apartment. Plus there's more of them than there are apartments, so I think that's what I'll aim for. But yeah, I had my sister over the holidays, so she's gone now, obviously. I think I've done an update on that. That was fun. And I've just been chugging through the hours. I've been working on my businesses. I work on my business before work. And then I go to work. And then I pass out on the couch for half an hour after eating. And then I get back to the businesses after work. So at the moment I'm just pulling everything I can. Just to get this house underway and get the job done. Because I don't like fucking about, really. Unfortunately, yes, I got sick on Friday from one of my kids. Which is sad because she was crying when she came in. Just this little Maori girl, and she obviously sick as a dog. She was not supposed to be there. She's only year 1. What's that, like 6 years old? So why did you send her in? She's red hot. She's crying. You bastard! Send her home. It's like, who does that? And the mum was there. She came and got her like half hour later or something like that. So it's not like she had to work or something like that. But she was crying and I felt so bad. I'm going, oh, that's horrible. But we send them home when we can. Unfortunately, the worst thing is when you got to keep them there because the mum or the dad or whoever is working and they're like feverish and stuff like that. You're going, oh, this is not good. But I know I've got that from her. And she had a mask on and everything, so, she was trying to do the right thing. But it's just one of the perks of the job, I'm afraid. You pick up whatever's going around. That's how I got the measles a few years ago. That's how I got eczema, cold sores, and all kinds of fucked up stuff. Pick it up off the kids. You're like, you can see when my mouth goes up. You can tell when I'm run down because my cold sores come out and I look fucking feral. It's like, she's got lesions on her mouth. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm just really stressed and run down. It looks like I've done some horrible things with my life, but realistically, I've just hung out with kids. Which could be horrible, but I'm not that way inclined, Oh, ugh. We're not going there. I've got flashes of Prince Andrew in my head. Oh, God. Jesus, no. It's fucked up. It really is fucked up. You gotta have a dark sense of humour, though. Otherwise, you'll cry. I don't know, you pick up everything with kids. And you put your vanity aside, I swear to God, pretty early on in a career. It's like when you run down, you're haggard, your cold sores in your mouth, your eczema on your neck's playing up. You just, you're like, how do you feel? Do you feel attractive? Nope. I am tired as fuck. And they won't stop screaming at me, so I'm just gonna go over here. And I've done it before where you just had that kind of a day where as soon as there's a recess or a lunch, you just lay down under your desk. And you have a sleep because it's exhausting. And they always need something, and I'm the kind of person that actually, throws it all out in one hit. So, it's like I'm not holding back anything, which is stupid really on my point because it doesn't really build your stamina. So at the end of the day, I get home and I'm fucked. Pass out on the couch. I've still got to go to the gym tonight, so that's going to be interesting. I didn't go yesterday though. I allowed myself to be sick last night. But usually I just go to the gym because I'm insane. Yeah, pretty much. Ew, Beamer bike. Lame. Don't buy puppies from pet shops. I wasn't gonna. I was gonna steal them. Sorry, I'm just reading bumper stickers. I don't know, everything's been pretty chill. So I'm just on my first official podcast drive to work. I've got one more, hopefully on the way back if I'm not too knackered. I'm teaching sport today, and hopefully everything should go pretty chill. Why are you full kit in BMW stuff? Sorry, I'm looking at, he's got the bike, he's got panniers, he's got a helmet and a jacket. Boots? No, that's GS Pro. Oh my god. Fanboying Beamers. No. Everyone knows Triumphs are better. Come on. They're vintage, they're lovely. They're not vintage, but they should be. Random. So I don't know what you guys are up to lately. Oh, we're coming into winter, so everything's going to be pissing down soon, so I don't know how I'm going to go with the podcast there. Other than that, everything's just chilling. I'm still writing my books. I put it aside to put more resources on my Teachers Pay Teachers site at the moment. I'm currently working on a project that will double my catalogue. So that's it's intensive, it's extensive, but if it doubles the income, it will help me greatly as a passive income. I'm also working on my eBay stores, and after that I'm thinking about working on one other store, but I'm not sure, on a different platform, but I'm not sure what the setup on that will be. I did have a Shopify at one point, but it fell through because the marketing on it is just dismal. It's a platform, yes, but you also have to pay for your own marketing, I think, because whatever they were doing, no traffic whatsoever. It was shit. So I just dissolved that. I'm like, oh, whatever, I'll just sell my paintings on eBay, which I have already, which is pretty cool. I sold 2 skateboards that I painted up, and I think it was a hard canvas as well. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. eBay's all right. Not great, but all right. I mean, anything extra you're going to pay extra for, really, isn't it? What else did I have? I had a Redbubble. That was shit. I made like 1 sale in a year or so, 2 years maybe. I'm not doing that again, so I collapsed that. But that was free to list, but you just don't make any sales. And the one thing I did make that sold, the production fee on it. So I sold, on the site, it was sold for 33 bucks, say. I think it was 33 bucks. The production cost was 27, and on top of that there was a fee, like a listing fee. So you can imagine, you're making fuck all, and they're just taking your stuff. your, you know, your, I can't even remember your creativity, essentially. I put all my canvases on there. Someone bought a sticker, and I think someone bought a travel mug. So that was a bit shit, so I'm not doing that one again. But it's good, because you've got to have these little experiments, and you've got to see where this could go, and could go. As long as it's got low overheads, it could work, or it could not work. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. That's essentially what I did with my eBay account. I've trial and errored so many eBay stores. You've got to keep your overheads low is the problem, because they'll still fee you for stuff, even after you've sold it. So you might have paid for an object, you're going to charge so much for it. I think the usual markup is about 65%, or is that a restaurant? I don't know. But then they'll fee you afterwards for selling it as well. So you feed a list, feed a sell, you're paying for the postage, well, the customer's paying for the postage. There's a lot of extra hidden fees there, which gives me the shits. But yeah, we're getting there. With my painting store, it's more a case of just I like painting, so so I'm just getting rid of it to get rid of clutter. I've got one of my side walls is just loaded up with stacked, like leaning against the wall paintings, canvases. So I'm just shoveling them off. Essentially, I go through like weird, because I got ASD. I got through the weird hyperfixation times where everything will be about one thing. So all of my canvases essentially came through about 6 months to a year of just, I want to paint. So I've done it before with like making jewelry, anything craft based. I go through a little bit nutty. Oh look, another beamer. How's that? But it was, you know, I do tend to do that, so it's fun. I mean, I did it with my uni degrees as well. It's like, I'm going to do this degree, okay. But we're going to do all the degrees. It's like, that's how you get 5. It's like, oh. So it can be a blessing and a curse. You do get very involved in it, absorbed in it. I have no problem. People say autism is like a disorder. I'm going, are you sure? Because I've achieved a fuckload by being regarded as, abnormal. So I don't know if it's really a bad thing. It's got to have its strengths, right? I mean, you think about so-called normal people. It's like maybe they have 1 degree, maybe 2. It's like I got hyperfixated and walked out with 5, 2 of which are master's degrees. So it's like, what was I thinking? It's like, I don't know, collect them all. It's Pokemon, right? It's like, no, it's not. Of course, I only actually use 1, so that was a bit weird. My student loans, I don't want to know about them. Yeah. Anyway, next topic. So what else can we talk about? It's Monday. I don't know how you guys are going. How are you guys going? Everybody's tired. Maybe I had a good weekend. I slept. I have the flu, so I sweated a lot too. That was weird. I'm burning up. It's winter here, so it's like 10 degrees. So, in the first thing in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sweating. It's like, it doesn't make sense. It's a weird body reaction to this flu. But no, I'm pretty chuffed. I feel like I feel better when I am sick, though. I don't really go down. I don't get the man flu side of things where I feel like I want to die. I get perky. It's weird. It's a weird reaction. Because I don't know, maybe it's the novelty of it. It's like I'm not sick all the time, and finally here's something different, so let's have fun. It's an annoyance, but I'm not particularly down about it. So I just keep going, drink more coffee, eat more snacks. I nicked someone's crunch and sip on Friday, so I was stoked about that. I brought because what they do at work is the kids will leave their crunch and sip. It's like an initiative set up by the government where the schools either provide kids with fruit or the kids bring it in themselves, depending on what they like to eat and all that kind of thing. And the government provides for the kids that don't have anything. And I work in low SES schools, so of course there's a shitload of fruit running around the school. So I nicked a load of it. And I just had myself a little fruit salad yesterday. I was pretty stoked. I don't have to pay for shit. Because I'm resourceful. But, Plus one of my kids left some grapes on a Friday afternoon. And they're not going to be good by Monday. So you just nick them. Mandarin. So I was pretty chuffed. It's like something out of the ordinary. And I don't usually buy fruit because it's expensive or it goes off too quick. All my rations are either dry goods or freezable. So there's a nice difference to have some fruit in the house. Over the holidays I had spinach leaves as well. So just because I knew I could go get them and eat them before they go off. It's nice. Eating like a normal person, I guess. Oh god, kids take a lot of shit for granted these days. They leave all kinds of shit around. Like crunch and sip lunch boxes, drink bottles, just like food around. If they don't want to eat their recess or something like that, they'll just leave it somewhere. The amount of sandwiches I've seen dumped in a bin, like still in Glad wrap, you're going, what the fuck? It's like, I don't want to eat it. It's like, are you serious? Who has the option? So I'm just thinking, I used to steal food as a kid because my parents weren't feeding me properly. Kids are just dumping their food in the bin just because they don't want it. It's like, you fuckers. You're taking that shit for granted so bad. It's annoying, a little bit angry. I had one of my kids, what was I, Thursday? One of my year 5s. And he had waited till right to the end of the day. And he had a sandwich, some kind of a muesli bar and an apple. And he took it out of his bag with great gusto. I went to go power slam into the bin, into the little, paper bin that you get in a classroom. It's tiny. It's like, it's noticeable if it's in there. And I caught him just as he was about to throw it in. I'm going, no, give me that. I don't want to go and put it in the freezer for the other kids. Because you always get, like, kids that don't come to school with lunch because they come from a fucked up family. It's part of the area I teach in. The parents don't feed them. I mean, my parents didn't feed me that well. These kids are coming from the next level of that. They just don't turn up with food. One of my parents big things growing up was if you didn't make your own lunch, you don't eat. Well, my mum was. My dad was fucking useless. So sometimes we came to school with no food, especially in high school. We just didn't bother. Bearing in mind I was anorexic at the time, so it made it really easy to just turn up without food. I don't know if the teachers notice. I mean, as a teacher now, we notice because the kids aren't eating. They'll be sitting around with their friends and they're just not eating. You go, what have you done with your lunch? And they'll say, I've eaten it already. It's like, have you? Because you did this at recess as well. So you've got to double check on the welfare of the kids as well. And sometimes they just don't turn up with food. But the parents can be fine with it as well. It's like, oh, they just don't get hungry in the day. It's like, fuck off. These kids are bouncing around the whole time. Of course they're going to get hungry. It's like, no, they just don't get hungry. That's bullshit. You just can't be fucked doing your job. And then you expect us to do your job for you. That's an annoyance. But they're tiny. I can't see kids not eating. You know what it is? Those stick-thin kids that turn up. That gets me every time. It's like kids should be moderately chubby as far as I'm concerned. I know what it was like as a kid growing up and not eating, you know, and you get cold as well, and you're lethargic, and it's like I have a hatred of cold because I was just always fucking cold and always fucking hungry, and I hated it, especially in high school because we used to have to wait outside our demountable if we're in a demountable, and I'd be wearing this fucking jumper that I nicked off my brother or something like that. And my uniform was hand-me-down, so there's no substance to them. They were worn through and shit like that. I had jeans I'd been wearing for fucking years. But it was freezing. And I just wasn't eating. This is my anorexia era. So I was fat at 12 because I used to steal food a lot. I used to have to. I got quite good at it, but by 16 I developed anorexia because, you know, people started noticing that I got fat. So whilst I've got the stretch marks now, I'm in that middle group where I'm sort of average weight, but it does flare up with stress. But that's the thing, it's like fat at 12, people give you shit, so I lost it, and then you're anorexic at 16, and then people give you shit. Like my parents were threatening to force feed me food if I didn't eat. It's like they weren't very nurturing. So I don't know if you've listened to the other podcasts I did on anorexia, but you know, they weren't the gentlest of parents. And my mom later claimed that she did it out of fear. She was afraid that, you know, I'm sitting there going, it just doesn't, it seems like she was trying to absolve herself of abuse. So it's like, by, you know, your guilt. It's like I feel guilty if I blame you for it, that I don't have to acknowledge what I've done to cause this problem. So first of all, they weren't feeding us, so we're overweight. Then they were being abusive about, you know, all kinds of things like comments and stuff like that, which then made me anorexic. Or, you know, I probably already had a natural inclination towards it, maybe because that's an ASD trend as well. But it was made easier by, like, reinforced by their behaviors and interactions and things like that. So by not feeding me lunch for high school and not feeding me properly at 12, and so my eating patterns have always been fucking out. So now when I have my cheat days on a Saturday, I eat everything, even though I was, you know, skeletal for a large chunk of high school, and into my mid-20s. Actually, I wasn't doing really well that way either. But it's something you have to actually take control of. You can't just assume you're going to get better. You have to get angry with it, as far as I can see. From my experience, that's what I did. I got fucking angry with it because I was like, every time this happens, every time I get stressed, I starve and I hate it. And you start to hate yourself. And what you really should be doing is isolating the disorder and getting angry with that, because fuck that. But as a child, yeah, perpetually cold, perpetually hungry. I hated it. And I was angry with my parents for that as well. And I used to steal food. I used to steal money. I used to steal fucking dad's cigarettes and sell them to kids in high school. Whatever. You know, this kind of Spartan lifestyle is like, my mum claimed that she was trying to teach us self-sufficiency, but at the same time, it's like, to this extent, no, where we're having to steal food and stuff like that. So when kids turn up these days with no lunch, And they smell like piss. They always do. Because I used to smell like piss, and I do know that. And you're like, at what age can you claim self-sufficiency when it's just, you know, neglect? If they don't learn now, they won't learn. It's like, she's 8. She barely knows what the fuck she's doing. She barely knows she's conscious. Feed the kid. So now the schools are taking on the role of being the parent as well, because the parents won't. Alright, tell the truth, large chunk of it they can't, because we are going through a crisis, aren't we? I mean, my parents had a crisis when I was growing up as well, so when we hit this financial crisis, this is nothing new to me. It's like I've done this already. I grew up like this. Nothing's different. In fact, I think I benefited from this shit going down, because we started getting things like electricity bill payoffs and stuff like that. I got a large chunk of money just for having an electricity account the other month. Oh, like at the start of last year, June, July last year, thanks to a federal budget and stuff like that. So we did better off for having COVID lockdowns and stuff like that, which is weird. So that's the kind of things, and I'm going to have to taper off now because I've just pulled up to work. But that's the kind of things that I'm working on with this project at the moment. I'm still making a good wage because I'm working every day and I'm working on my businesses and stuff like that. But sorry, I'm so sorry about the sniffing. It's I know it sounds gross. I can't get rid of it yet. Decongested. But I'm trying to take those skills that I absorbed as a kid and actually use them as an adult to get somewhere. So I've got my houses planned for next year, hopefully. Next December I will have a car by then, hopefully. And a car, oh my god. You can tell my brain's fried, it's only Monday. A house by then, I have a car. Oh my god. And I just want some stability that I didn't have as a kid. I didn't have any stability, so, you know, it's residual from that, because I didn't have a home growing up. I didn't have a home really when I was married, so I didn't, you know, and it's come to the point where I'm just like, oh, you know what, I'm going to work my ass off and get my stability, even if it's on my own at this point, because I know I can do it. I'm good for it. I know I'm reliable, so I've got to go with that. And it's working quite well. It seems to be a lot of things I've picked up as a kid are really, really good for getting stuff done now as an adult, because you recognise where they fit into your daily schedule and stuff like that. It's really helpful. I feel for people who have not had a hard background upbringing, because this is all new to them and they're learning as adults and they're used to the cushiness of convenience, and their adaptability probably isn't as strong as, you know, someone who's lived in absolute poverty their entire life. The resilience just isn't there, because they're like, oh, but why can't I find the exact product I want in the shops? Oh. Meanwhile, everybody else is just getting on with it. It's like, grow up. I feel for them a bit, but you gotta learn sometime. Just sit in the cushiness of life and expect it to revolve around you. It's just absurd. So, alright, I'm gonna have to leave it there. My update isn't a great one, and I am fluey, so I'm hoping that you aren't disgusted by my snortling. I hope you have a great Monday. I'm going to choose a better topic on the way back. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that 8 or 10? 8 lined up on my little post-it, and I've got a whole bag of extra ones. Have a great Monday, guys. Okay, take it easy. Look after yourselves and each other. I'll chat on the way back.